Hello and welcome to Mad Ghost Racing, and today we're going to be talking about TT IIyama Ride on the Edge 3, and I'm going to try and talk about it while I was trying to do a lap of the Isle of Man in version 2 of the game. I'm going to do this on the 1972 MV Augusta. I've been playing motorcycle racing games since probably the early 90s when a couple of titles on the, I think it was the Sega Mega Drive. Then sort of got a reasonable enough PC to be able to play a few games there. I think the one I played most of my time on was GP500 because it was model and people kept coming out with like new seasons and new tracks and things. Then I got a PlayStation 2, and the reason I actually got a PlayStation 2 was probably because of a motorcycle racing game, namely Tourist Trophy, a real riding simulator, courtesy of Pelopony Digital, who produced the Gran Turismo games. And as well as that, I had several games by Jester Interactive, namely TT Superbikes, Real Road Racing. Will I make it around the corner? Just about. Wrong way. And there was a follow-up to that called Championship and Legends, and it's the Legends one is the one I spend most of my time in because I like the older bikes. I'm really making a cock up of this, aren't I? I like the older bikes, the sort of bit of history, it's got everything from a 1952, I think it is, Manx Norton through 500 Gilera, which is the first machine to do a 100-mile-an-hour lap, a load of various Hondas from the 1960s. Fuck, I've got, no, I did manage to make it. It's a bit late on my turn-in, probably because I'm talking. Yeah, the 1962, I think it was, 125 Honda Twin, the 1966 250 and 500. It was 256, the RC166, quite a famous piece of machinery, and the, I think it's the 181, I think it is, 4-cylinder 500 Honda. And then it's got the 1967 350, which was actually an overboard version of the 250, 6-cylinder machine from the previous year. 1970 Triumph Trident, Slippery Sam, which won the production race. 1974 750 Kawasaki, I think it is. And then what else has it got? XR45 RG500 Suzuki. The 500 Patent 4-cylinder 2-stroke. I probably missed something. Then the 508 Norton, the OW71, is it? Oh, OW01. My brain's gone. Carl Fogarty and Stevie Slop had a bit of a ding-dong on, along with Robert Dunlop, who was riding, I can't remember what. Oh, that ain't right. So yeah, a really good selection of bikes, and one or two extra tracks beside the TT. It's got like the Southern 100 course, the Ulster Grand Prix, the Northwest 200, then I think it was Aberdare Park and Oliver's Mount. So it's all based on road racing circuits, and that's really what I'd like to see from the next version of this. The next version is actually being done by a different set of developers. Oh shit. The first two were done by Carleton Racing. The next one's going to be done by Raceward Studios, who produced a game called Rims. Now, I will have to say that I never played Rims for the very simple fact it never really appealed. It sounded like it was more about the sort of mechanic inside and upgrading bikes and changing bits, and I thought, I've been there, I've done that on about 3 million other games, and it's like, unless you get just the right combination of bits, you sort of never really get a thing to do what you want it to. And I'm thinking, do I really want to spend all that time on a game that's all about upgrading things instead of just getting on the damn things and riding them, which is much more my thing. Ooh, excuse the silence, this is probably one of the most tricky sections on the whole of the island. Oh, didn't get that right. Not quite where I thought it was. That's the other thing, it all looks a bit samey at times, and it's quite easy to get confused about where you are and end up thinking you're in a somewhat different corner and going in there about 10 times faster than you should do. So got a bit of straight road coming up so I can actually talk again. Yeah, I'd like to see a bit more in the way of sort of classic machinery. They're saying there's going to be 32 circuits, both new and historic, so I don't know what the hell they got in mind with that. So hopefully they got some interesting historic circuits. Just trying to remember what they had in rims. They had about 15 circuits, I think it was. That was one of the things about rims as well. The selection of bikes was 8 machines. Now they might have had 500 sort of bits to put on the bloody things, but I'd prefer to have a larger selection of machinery to play with in the first place than have a smaller amount of machinery. And although having said that, TT Superbikes Legends only got what, 10 bikes, but again they're an interesting selection of machinery, all different, whereas these are like in rims you're talking about just 8 superbikes basically, which are all going to be okay, somewhat different, but enough of the same to be going, well, they're all sort of 4-cylinder across the frame or V4, and well, all going to have very similar performance, nothing to really define them. So that was why I never went with it. Oh shit, a bit wide. So yeah, that was why I didn't bother buying that. Like, I might have to buy it at some point just to see how good their physics are, because a lot of people actually said it handled really well. It was just it was a case of there is gameplay and there is gameplay, and that particular gameplay didn't really appeal. So they might do something very similar. They have said there's going to be some improved physics in 3, so I don't mind the physics in 2, although I have to say I'm more used to using the chase cam. I'm sort of trying to wean myself off the bloody thing, though. Doing things like this with it on board. The reason I'm sort of not much into on board is basically because I used to play a lot of Legends, and basically the onboard on that was shit, so they weren't really on board. Ooh, don't clip the curb, whatever you do. So yes, it's hopefully it's one of these points where I'm going, I am where I think I am, aren't I? Just coming up to Bluff Bridge. Oop, front wheel landing, not great. So yeah, hopefully they'll have a lot more interesting circuits, as well as having the Isle of Man. One of the things that was in TT Superbikes from Jester, the Real Road Racing Championship, was Macau, which is like, okay, you want to be insane? that's insane. Oh, this is one of the sections where I get a little bit lost because you're going through this bloody tunnel and sometimes the shadows get very confusing about where the bloody road is. Whoa! Will I get back? So yes, it's there's lots of possibilities there. Like I said, the fact they said there's going to be nearly 40, I had to laugh at that, nearly 40 licensed bikes and riders with Super Sport and Superbike. So nearly 40, that's 39 then, is it? Because it's like, just how many you got? Ooh, that's a bit wide. Keep turning in too late. So yeah, the like I said, I'd like them to use something like Legends as a bit of a... Oh, this is what I want to do. Yeah, Legends did have its odd issues, I have to say. The fact there was no real career. You were basically doing a bunch of challenges to try and match what some people have done in the past, like matching the 92 mile hour lap on the Manx Norton, or the sort of first 100 mile hour lap on the Gilera, for example. And then you had things like the three-way scrap between Steve Islop, Carl Fogarty and was it Robert Dunlop? So there was lots to do, just not necessarily what some people might consider a career. It was more a case of challenges more than anything. So, not that I minded that. I thought it was quite interesting. As you can see in these sections, it is quite difficult to tell where the hell you're going. One thing I would like to see is the ability to change the field of view a bit, because I like it so it's a bit wider, so you got effectively drag the what's further right towards you a bit, so everything looks a bit bigger on the screen. See that, I need a 48-inch monitor, so that everything's a bit bigger. You can actually change the weather and time of day, so you can actually reduce the shadows, and you can cheat and just turn the shadows off as well, which is the other way of doing it. But I am looking forward to the next episode, purely on the basis it's being done by somebody else and they might just have a completely different idea what to do. There again, their idea might not match up with what I want to do, so but that didn't feel quite right. I am using the professional, sort of no-age approach here, and like I said, I don't normally ride from on the bike, I usually ride from behind it, so I am trying to wean myself off. Ooh, that didn't feel right. I might have forgotten I'd linked the brakes, which is just something I was testing, so I don't have to try and concentrate on two brakes at the same time. I linked them and I don't think it likes it a lot. Thought I was in fifth then. That's the other thing, I keep forgetting to check the map and see what's coming up. Shouldn't need to, but a lot of the Isle of Man looks the same as the rest of the Isle of Man. It's quite easy to Oh, that's gonna cost me shit. I was hoping to get all the way around without dying. That's one of those places it's very easy to just run a little bit wide and just touch the grass. So, like I said, I'm not used to riding from here. Despite the fact I've been going around the Isle of Man for years and years and years in various games. But I have to say the quality of the modelling in this is somewhat better than the TT Superbikes from the PS2 days. As good as they were at the time, you can still see exactly where you are, sort of by comparison. As these multi-apex corners are quite a pain as well, because you just don't have the control accuracy required. I keep thinking, should I try it with a steering wheel just for a laugh? I know people who do play bike racing games with steering wheels, and they do seem to be able to go better than I can, or they're maybe just not shit like I am. Again, this is another sort of multi-apex corner, which I'll probably get wrong again. Oh no, actually didn't look too bad. So yes, I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. It might be a case of turns out to not be my cup of tea, but can only hope. It'll be interesting to see if close at the time they're going to release, they actually release some details on what circuits they've got. Like I said, they've got I think it was 15 circuits, I think it was. There's one in Portugal that's actually a classic track that disappeared in 1972, I think it was. I can't remember the name of it. It begins with an M, it's in a park in Lisbon. Which is not very helpful, but there you go. I'll put something on the screen to go, it was here, you twat. But that was interesting, they actually put in a circuit, because I think they had, of the 15 circuits, about 4 or 5 were made up. One was a classic that no longer existed, and the rest were current circuits in rims. So we'll see. Of course, it also does come down to how much it costs to actually license any circuits that are still current. I don't know how much they'd charge for the Isle of Man. I mean, I don't know if they could actually, because it's all open roads, so which is why various developers have managed to get away with putting Monaco in with various weird names. It's because, well, it's just the street. So, ooh, is that a bit wide? No. So yeah, you can quite easily put in street circuits, and there's lots of old street circuits they could put in. I will say it's a bloody sight harder riding a bike whilst talking than it is driving a car. Not surprisingly. Especially around a circuit that, despite having been going around it for 25 years or whatever it is. 15, 20 years, whatever it was. Whenever the first PlayStation 2 games came out, yeah, 15 years. I still don't know where the fuck I'm going half the time. I'll have to think very hard, which is easy enough to do when you're not talking, but not so easy to do when you are. But for those who have never seen what it's like to go around the Isle of Man, I did think about doing it back in the day when I was racing, but my bike just wasn't reliable enough, I didn't think. So I never did. I've had to rely on doing the virtual one. I can see the appeal. There's not many places in the UK or anywhere else around the world really where you can have a circuit where you spend quite so much time going this fast. Can I get around here? No. Oh, damn, fell off. Don't know what happened there. I said run out of bloody steering lock. This is actually no longer a piece of public road, the Governor's Dip, but because it's part of the original circuit, they include it. How's my lap time going to be? Oh god, I'm going to be under 20 minutes. That's ridiculous. That's 115 mile an hour lap or something ridiculous whilst talking to you people. 114. I was close. That's not bad considering. So I'm improving. So the other day I actually managed to 2-minute 50, then a 2-minute 13, 2-minute 11, and the 2:13 was without even falling off. So that's an impressive improvement. So yes, I'm looking forward to the third version of this, and hopefully they improve all the bits that need improving and don't manage to fuck up all the bits that don't need improving. I mean, they do say they've got a different on-bike camera, but I hope they leave that one, which is more sort of fixed to the top of the tank but doesn't rotate. I find the ones that go with where your head goes, especially the way when people ride modern bikes, actually is very disorientating, because when they get off the side of the bike, they not only get to the side, they go down as well, and then you're sort of like, where the hell's my front wheel compared with where my head is? On a bike, when you're actually riding it yourself, it's very easy to tell because your brain knows exactly where everything is. But in a game, that doesn't work for me. Like I said, it's very similar to look to Apex when you're in a car. I just can't get my head around that either. So for me, for now, that's enough waffle, and my brain needs a rest after that. So enjoy racing, have fun, get yourself on the Isle of Man, and have a few laps of trying not to do too much damage to yourself. So and I will see you soon. Goodbye. Where's my button?